Speak to Jonathan Russell, who's from the counter-extremism think tank, the Quilliam Foundation. Jonathan, good evening to you.
Good evening.
I don't know, you wouldn't have heard the whole interview there, but basically Jenny Rathbone's saying that even if the intelligence existed to suggest that something was being plotted by Reyaad Khan, the RAF still shouldn't have targeted him. Do you agree with that?
Well, actually, I think it was legal to target him in this way, if we're to believe the intelligence that he was planning an attack against on UK soil. I think the self-defence premise is entirely fair, but to be honest, we don't have any checks and balances on that because it's entirely intelligence-led. The only checks and balances that do exist, as you mentioned, are the Intelligence and Security Committee who hold our security services to account. So I'd encourage them to look at it in due course. But I don't feel we need a parliamentary vote every time we want to do any sort of foreign policy. I think that would create mass inertia. What I would say is that there are other options other than simply using targeted killing in this way. I think there's a great precedent for people who have left Islamic State and have subsequently de-radicalised that we should be following, and it should show that targeted killing in this way isn't always necessary, and that there are possibilities of de-radicalising, rehabilitating, reintegrating British citizens back into the UK if we can reach out to them.
What sort of effect do you think that the bombing of Reyaad Khan might have on people who are considering joining Islamic State? Is it likely to deter them or likely to spur them on?
Well, of course, it could go either way. I think it's a powerful disincentive to join that organisation if you think you're likely to die. However, if you follow the Islamic State way of thinking and are already radicalised, and in a phrase, you love death like we love life, then probably that isn't so much of a disincentive. Moreover, it will probably reinforce your worldview that the British government is out to get you and is waging war against Islam. So I don't think it's a case of fact per se. It's perception, and it's how this narrative is spun by groups like Islamic State. It's how these grievances are manipulated by those who wish to radicalise us.
We spoke earlier to a former councillor in Cardiff who's also a neighbour of the Khan family in the city, and he was saying that he doesn't think enough is being done to deal with the root cause of all of this, education, speaking to kids when they're young. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I'm entirely in agreement with that. I would say that while it might seem counterintuitive, the death of these two young men, in particular Reyaad Khan from Cardiff, is a tragedy because it could have been prevented. And it could have been prevented if we'd had robust counter-extremism policies and strategies over the last decade. We've done some things, but by integrating it better into our education system, we could have won these young boys' hearts and minds before Islamic State got to them, or indeed any other terrorist organisation. And that is inherently tragic. We missed an opportunity there, but it's not too late. This is a generational struggle, as the Prime Minister reminds us. And if we can get into schools now and convince the next generation that really they have more to live for in a liberal democracy like ours than they have to die for in a theocratic fascist state like Islamic State, then we can start to make progress.
The fact that there are people from the current generation out in Syria and Iraq with Islamic State, though, does that mean we should perhaps prepare ourselves for more of this from the UK?
Well, I think a full spectrum response will include some elements of a military strategy, and as a murderous death cult like Islamic State that is intent on attacking British soil and other European countries, I would expect there to be more incidents of drone strikes and other military responses like that. But we should insist that it isn't only a military response. It isn't even only a legal response. I don't think locking people up is the golden solution for this. I think we've got to go full spectrum and look at prevention and de-radicalisation and intervene earlier through our schools.
Good to speak to you. Thank you for your time. That's Jonathan Russell from the counter-extremism think tank, the Quilliam Foundation.